If you keep hitting back to $0 every month, not because you're irresponsible, but because life keeps charging you random fees, this is your fastest, realistic path to a $1,000 buffer. Not a perfect budget, not tracking every penny, a tiny system that makes saving automatic and boring. And stay to the end, because I'll show you the #1 mistake that deletes people's first $1,000, and the one-sentence policy that makes it stick. Quick reality check. The Federal Reserve found 37% of adults would not cover a $400 surprise with cash or cash equivalent. So when the small emergency hits, it turns into credit cards, overdrafts, or borrowing. That's why $1,000 matters. Small enough to build, big enough to stop the bleeding. And yes, AAA says the average car repair bill can land around $500 to $600. That's exactly what your first $1,000 is meant to absorb. Here's the plan. We're doing this in 2 parts. Part 1 is the system that makes it stick. Part 2 is the speed run that gets it fast. And I'm going to make this feel like a game because that's how you finish. Your goal is simple. Today, set up the system in 10 minutes. Next 14 days. Run the speed run to stack your first few hundred. Then you coast to $1,000 with automation. All right, part 1, the system. Step 1, separate account. Open a savings account that is not your checking account. Nickname it something dramatic like do not touch. Because this is the most common failure. People save inside checking, and the money gets accidentally spent because it's sitting right there. The fix is friction. Make your savings one tiny step harder to reach than your spending money. No debit card. Don't keep it on your home screen. And if your bank only offers instant transfers, that's okay. Your friction becomes no card plus not visible plus not connected to everyday spending. Step 2. Automate the transfer the same day you get paid. Start smaller than your ego wants, so you don't quit. This is where most people mess up. They pick a heroic number, then their month gets messy, then they stop. We're not building a fantasy. We're building a system that survives your worst week. Here's a clean example. If you earn about $5,000 a month, do $125 per week into Do Not Touch. In 8 weeks, that's $1,000. If $125 sounds impossible, cut it in half. Even $25 per paycheck counts. The size matters less than the rhythm. Step 3, define the rule. You only touch this fund for emergencies that keep you working and living. Not vacations, not birthday gifts, not it was on sale. One sentence, say it out loud, keeps me working and living. Cool, that's the system. Now, part 2, the speed run. This is where you find your first $200 to $500 fast, without living on rice and sadness. And I want you to visualize a progress bar. $0 to $200 to $500 to $1,000. Your first milestone is $200. Not $1,000, $200, because once you hit $200, your brain believes you can finish. Speed run, step 1, the 10-minute leak scan. Open your statements and circle anything you forgot you were paying for. Subscriptions, fees, old memberships, trials that became real charges. Most people don't have an income problem for the first $1,000. They have a leak problem. Speed run. Step 2, cancel or pause one thing today. Not everything. 1. Then redirect that exact amount into Do Not Touch. You're not trying to be a monk, you're trying to stop the bleeding. Speed run. Step 3, negotiate one bill. Internet, phone, insurance. Ask for a lower plan or a promo rate. Even $25 a month is real money. That's $300 a year. And yes, this counts as saving because it permanently raises your monthly margin. Speed run. Step 4, the 48-hour rule for impulse buys. If it isn't food, medicine, or gas, you wait 48 hours. Most urges die in the dark. Speed run. Step 5, the $200 box, one box. Anything in it gets listed this weekend. Your goal is not a garage sale. Your goal is your first $200. Because the first $1,000 is mostly behavior and logistics, not financial genius. Now I know the big objection. I have debt. Here's the nuanced truth. A $1,000 buffer first can prevent you from creating new debt the next time life happens. Without a buffer, every surprise becomes a swipe, and you're trying to climb out of a hole while someone keeps handing you a shovel. The buffer blocks the shovel. Now, pause this video for 10 seconds and do 3 clicks. Open your bank app, create the separate savings account, schedule the first automatic transfer, then come back. Because if you do nothing else today, do that. All right? Now here's the only checklist moment in this video. This is the exact order. Screenshot this. 1, separate account. Name it, do not touch. 2, set the starter auto transfer for payday, even $25. 3, make it weekly if you can. Weekly feels lighter. 4, pick your timeline. $125 a week equals 8 weeks. $60 a week equals about 17 weeks. Both count. 5, define the emergency sentence, keeps me working and living. 6, run the 14-day speed run. Cancel 1 leak. Negotiate 1 bill. Delay impulse buys by 48 hours. 7, hit your first milestone, $200, then $500, then $1,000. That gets you to $1,000. But now, here's the secret weapon that keeps you from falling back to zero. The secret weapon is a sinking fund buffer, a tiny category for predictable surprises, because most emergencies aren't emergencies. They're calendar events wearing a disguise. Here's how it works. You keep your $1,000 emergency fund separate, and you build a second mini bucket called Soon Expenses, even $30 to $50 per week. Because when you use the emergency fund for predictable stuff, car tags, gifts, annual subscriptions, you feel like you failed and you stop saving. The sinking fund protects your motivation. Quick setup. Write down the next 3 predictable surprises in the next 90 days. Then estimate low, medium, high, like car maintenance, $200 to $500. Birthdays, $100 to $300. Annual subscription renewal, $60 to $120. You're not guessing perfectly. You're giving your money a job before it disappears. Then pick a weekly number. If your Soon Expenses total is $600 over 12 weeks, that's $50 per week. And that one move alone kills the random expense feeling. Now, the number one mistake that deletes people's first $1,000, it's treating the emergency fund like a revolving door. You pull money out and you don't have a refill rule. So the next surprise hits and you're back at zero. Here's the fix, a 1-sentence policy. Whenever I use the emergency fund, the next transfer is refill it until it's back to $1,000. No debate, no guilt, just refill. That's what makes it insurance. Insurance only works if you restore it after a claim. So if you spend $300 on a tire, your system flips into refill mode until the buffer is whole again. And here's the quiet win. Once you have the $1,000, you stop needing willpower every week. You get margin, you get choices, you get to breathe. Now the question is, what do you do after the first $1,000, especially if you have debt? Here's the simple fork in the road. Path A, if you have high interest debt, like most credit cards, keep the $1,000 starter fund. Then aim extra money at the debt, while keeping your auto transfer alive at a small maintenance level. Why? The buffer prevents new emergency debt, and the extra payments stop the interest bleed. 1-2 punch. Path B, if your debt is low interest, or you don't have high interest debt, your next goal is to grow this from $1,000 into a real emergency fund. Start with 1 month of core expenses. And if you're thinking, I can't even imagine 1 month, that's exactly why we do it in layers. First $1,000, then 1 month. Then you decide if you want to go to 3. Here's the easiest way to calculate 1 month. Add up 4 survival categories: housing, utilities, groceries, transportation. That's your starter target. Example, rent, $1,800. Utilities, $200. Groceries, $600. Transportation, $400. That's $3,000 for 1 month. Now you have a real number to chase. And you don't chase it with vibes. You chase it with the same system. Separate account, auto transfer, refill rule, 30-second challenge. Comment 3 numbers, your weekly transfer amount, your current emergency fund balance, and your next target, either $1,000 or 1 month. And if you don't want to comment, write it in your notes right now, because what gets named gets built. 2 quick rules that keep momentum after $1,000. Rule 1, every raise, bonus, or tax refund gets split. Some to future goals, some to present life. Rule 2, if you fall off, don't restart from scratch. Restart from the next paycheck. The system doesn't care about yesterday, it cares about the next transfer. That's the whole secret. The first $1,000 is a speed run, but keeping it is a policy. Separate account, auto transfer. Sinking fund for predictable surprises. Refill rule. You're not doing this to be good with money. You're doing this so a flat tire doesn't become a financial emergency. So you can breathe, Now that you're building your first $1,000, the next step is making sure your bank isn't taking it back in fees. My next video is about banking mistakes that cost you. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Quick reminder, this is general education, not personal financial advice. But if you take one action today, make it this: set the transfer.